I thought we'd do a practice focus on just finding this calm within ourselves and being able to cultivate this sense of calm and sort of equalness or equanimity in any situation. And so we can cultivate a sense of responding instead of reacting, which I am also guilty of in certain circumstances. I just kind of knee-jerk react, but we can cultivate this sense of calm within of watching a situation and not necessarily reacting right away, but having more of a thoughtful response. So that's what I thought we'd do. Hello. Yeah. All right. And within that sphere of creating calmingness, cultivating equanimity within, there's this idea of like a one-pointed focus, or ekagrata is what it's called in the Yoga Sutras, and in the Bhagavad Gita is mentioned as well. So ekagrata is like one-pointed focus, sort of being able to really focus in and digest information around us and then be able to respond to it appropriately. And so that's what I thought we'd focus on today. You can start by sitting upright, or you can lay down. Or if there's another position you're more inclined to take, then do that. And settle yourself in, relax your shoulders down and back. If you're sitting upright, just find your tall spine. So you can allow your lungs to breathe, your belly to open a bit. And then also, if you're lying down, just allowing the shoulders to settle, the head to settle, no excess of tension. And with the eyes closed, we'll take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. And in through the nose and out through the mouth. Coming into your breath, slow it down. Slow inhale in through the nose, filling up the belly, the lungs, the chest, into the head space equally. And emptying out, gently pushing out any stale energy or oxygen out through the mouth or nose. Deflating the belly, the lungs, the chest. And take that deep breath one more time in through the nose. And out through the nose or mouth. And so for the breathing exercise to start off with today, I thought we would just come back to basics and do our Ujjayi breath. So oftentimes the Ujjayi breath is that heated breath. When you see yogis flowing and moving in and out of poses, you hear them almost this throaty breath, right? You hear, you can hear it in their throat, right? What I want to focus on is not necessarily like such a heated breath. Like we don't really need to build a whole lot of heat. It's really hot outside, but just cultivate a slight restriction in the back of the throat, and it's try to cultivate a bit of calm and focus on the exhale. So you can locate that space in between your collarbones. There's this hollow space here. It's almost as if we're breathing out of this space. And there's just a very gentle, subtle rumble at the back of our throat, as if we're emulating the sound of the ocean. And so try it a few times on your own. We take a deep breath. It's in and out through the nose. So we take a deep breath in through the nose. And then as if you're breathing through this space between the collarbones. So you should probably be able to hear a little bit of your own sound that you create on the exhale, but you might not necessarily be able to hear the sound of my breath. Right? Well, not a super heated breath, but just a little bit, slight restriction in the back of the throat as we try to breathe through this space. And then we're going to add an extra calming element to this breath. So cultivating this gentle Ujjayi breath, and then take the hands over the eyes, whether you're lying down or seated, and take the Ujjayi breath in through the nose and out through the nose. And in through the nose, just gently cupping the hands over the eyes, so we create a calming effect. Softening the shoulders. Let's take about 8 more rounds of these breaths. This gentle, heated breath in through the nose and out through the nose. Like we're breathing the ocean in through the nose. Here's 7. And out through the nose, softening the hands over the eyes. 6 more in through the nose. Out through the nose. 5 more, slow deep breath in. Slow deep breath out, ocean noise. 4 more in and out. In. 3 more out. Last 2, inhale and exhale. Last 1, in and out. Gently release your hands down. You feel that light starting to enter even with the eyes closed. You can point the palms up or down. And relax the shoulders fully. And feel your natural breath. Come back to that natural inhale and exhale. So not trying to breathe through the space between the collarbones. Coming back to neutral breath. Notice any change in how you're feeling in your body, in what your mind is saying or not saying, and how your breath feels. Is it easier to breathe your natural breath now that we did that short exercise? Maybe there's no change. Notice that. We keep coming back to this Ujjayi breath throughout our practice, and if you're feeling overheated with it, then completely skip it. It's fine to just breathe in and out normally or exhale out the mouth. But just like we're emulating the ocean with our breath, start to notice your breath as if it is a wave coming in and a wave moving out. Feel the inhale as you feel sensation in the body from the in-breath. And feel the exhale as you feel sensation dropping of the shoulders, belly contracts on the exhale. Notice any other sensations that are arising. Keep anchoring into this wave of breath. And start to notice any mind activity going on, any thoughts occurring. And as if you're sinking down into the calm underneath the surface of the ocean, you have those wild waves and activity on the surface of the ocean. Once you get lower, keep going down, sinking down, there's a calm that settles in and there's less wave activity. So it's just that idea of leaving those thoughts, the wave activity at the top, the surface, and as if you're an anchor sinking down into the bottom of the ocean, cultivating this one pointed focus. Keep coming back to the breath and the unwavering calm that comes with refocusing again and again on the breath. And so to complete this opening meditation, we'll do a counting exercise where when we count down from 10 to 1, imagine yourself starting off at the surface, the top of the ocean where the waves are moving. And with each countdown from 10 to 1, slowly dropping down below the surface into this more calm and even space underneath, where by the time we get to 1, you're there at the bottom. So just coming back into your breath. You can use the Ujjayi breath if it helps. You can even cup your hands over your eyes again if that's helpful, or you can just breathe normal. So we'll count down 10 to 1. Keep dropping down, down, down with each breath. Inhale and exhale. Sink in. 10. Inhale. Exhale, going deeper. 9. Inhale. Exhale, keep sinking in. 8. Inhale. Exhale, going down. 7. Inhale. Exhale. 6. Inhale. And exhale. 5. Keep lowering down. Inhale. Exhale. 4. Drawing down, drawing down. Inhale. Exhale. 3. Sinking in. Closer to the bottom. Inhale. Exhale, almost to the bottom, base of the ocean. Inhale. Exhale. 1, making contact with that solid surface, bottom of the ocean. And staying here, sinking in, dropping down underneath the layers of thoughts and sensation and senses and emotions. And seeing if we can linger in this space. Maybe you focus your energy at the pit of your belly or even at the base of your spine. Focus your awareness there, very grounding in our root energy center. And stay there, cultivating this calm down below the surface of activity. For the next minute or so, we'll stay here in silence and come back to the Ujjayi breath if you like. But just keep coming back to the breath nonetheless, the inhale and the exhale. And slowly begin to take slightly deeper breath. You can take it in through the nose and out through the nose or mouth, just a soft sigh in the body. And again, like that if you like. Being kind to ourselves in our practice, as if we can expand this openness and calm and even equanimity sense to our, we can relate it to ourselves and our practice, whatever was going on in the surface, the mind stuff, perhaps you were still being pulled up by the surface and the thoughts and your to-do list and the past and the future and all that. So if that was occurring for you, just recognizing that it is a practice, and we're just cultivating more skill as we continue to come back to the practice, and it's different each time. So we come up with different challenges and we meet them again with a sense of calmness and evenness, letting go of judgment. So from wherever you are, we'll start to get ready for our movement practice. We'll start seated upright to set our intentions. If you're not already seated, just gently make your way there. Opening your palms, spread through your hands. Feel your palms spreading, being perceptive and open to what benefit you can get from this practice or what you've already started to receive. And then on your inhale, bring your arms up overhead, reaching up high, maybe drawing the head back gently and stretching through the front of the neck. As you exhale, pull your hands through to heart center. Do that slow movement again. Inhale, open your palms, spread through your fingertips and reach your arms up. You can keep the eyes closed if you like. If it feels okay, we gently draw the head back and stretch through the front of the neck. As you exhale, draw your chin in and draw your hands down. And one more like that. Inhaling, bringing your arms up, really gentle and back with the neck. And exhale, hands through to heart. We'll take the hands and start to rub them together, feeling a bit of heat build in between the hands as they create some friction. There's the energy that you create, physically feeling it in your hands. And sometimes doing this on your own throughout your day to really feel that you do have an energy. You exude off a certain, something when you do things out into the world and you create a ripple. And so we're just feeling that physically. It's an easy way to conjure up our own power and energy is feeling it between the hands. Every living being has it. And then once you get a sufficient amount of heat builds, take the hands and cup them over the eyes. You should feel that reverberation of energy. So just gently cupping the hands over the eyes, we can take 3 deep Ujjayi breaths, that ocean breath, to set our intention. So coming into your intention, if it's calm, has to do with that focus, that one-pointed calm focus, ekagrata. Feel free to use that or whatever you're feeling, whatever is resonating with you. 3 deep breaths to commit to intention. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Bring your hands together at heart center. A deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Then we'll take the hands down. We'll come back onto the back if you haven't done that already. Make our way there. And we'll start off today by just moving the knees a little bit. So we're going to bring the arms out wide to a T position and root the fingertips down into the ground. So reaching arm to arm. And then stretch your fingers a little bit. It should be just straight from the shoulders along the chest. And then bring your knees together as you walk your feet in. And gently begin to move over to the right, just pivoting over to the right, feeling that stretch, trying to keep the shoulder blades on the ground. And then gently back to center and go to the other side. So there's going to be a bit of a staggering feeling in the legs. They're not quite stacked as you gently move from side to side. You might feel a little stiffness in the top of the hips. Always discerning if there's any pain in your body. So reeling back if you're feeling pain and modifying if you need to. All right. We just go from side to side a few times. Root down with your shoulder blades as you move really from the sides of the waist, using those core muscles to stabilize as we hover the knees over to one side and then the other. Feet are on the ground. And then next time you move your knees over, let's go to the right side. So we'll just go about halfway down and then take your head and gently turn it off to the left. Start to feel a stretch in your neck. You can let the knees go a little bit further if that feels okay, or come a bit more upright if that's more conducive. Take a breath here. Find some release in the twist. And then inhale back to center, letting the hips come stationary. As you exhale, go to the other side. Gently turning the head off to the side and letting the knees go as far as it feels okay in your hips and your legs. And take a big breath here. And then inhale back to center and begin to slowly hug the knees in towards the chest. So knees can be a little bit apart or together. Find this rock side to side. So we're kind of moving from hip to hip, one side of the back to the other side of the lower back, and back again, going side to side. And then from here, we can take the right, either the right ankle or the right knee. So this is going to be a little bit more intense when we cross the right knee over, like a seated cross-leg position. The ankles crossing is a little less intense. So it just kind of depends on the stretch that you're looking for or what's available to you. And then I'm gently going to grab the outside of the feet. So already like feeling some stretch here in the outer hips. Again, crossing the ankles is going to be less. So more or less. And then just bringing our legs in, drawing the knees in. You can start to circle in one direction. Right? Just feeling this rotation through the hips and the legs. Again, it's going to feel a little different if you've got the knees crossed. And then come back upright and start to switch sides. Maybe you do half the time with your knees crossed and find, okay, and you do the rest with my ankles crossed. Like half and half. Works good too. And then just wherever you are, come stationary and hug the knees in. You should be feeling a pretty big stretch here in the outer hips. Take a breath. And then uncross the legs, let your ankles roll around for a moment, releasing out. You should feel a little imbalance between sides. And then switch sides. So left knee over right knee, or left ankle over right ankle. You can do both. A little half of one, half of the other. Start to circle around, just feeling this in the lower back. Moving the knees out and around, and go that same direction one more time. Get a little more bigger circle when you cross the ankles, I find. And then start to go in the other direction. We'll go about 5-6 times, taking it slow. Yeah. Same thing here. All right, and then last one, squeeze it in a little bit. We can hold onto the feet or gently grab onto that outer knee. So it looks like that. And then uncross the legs. Start to extend your heels up, straighten your legs a bit more, and bend into your knees. And do this a few times, just to bend and straighten both legs. Yeah, so I thought we'd do a bit of core work today, not a whole lot, but just something to waken up the core. And so just bring your knees into a tabletop position. You're going to find that the more you lower your heels down, the more you're prone to arcing in the lower back. So it means that your hips are tilting forward or spilling forward. And so in order to keep this spine long, I'm going to really imprint the lower back into the mat and not have any gap here in the lower back. So that may mean just bringing your knees in a tiny bit, or we might be able to still bring them out and engage the core, draw it into the spine. Right? And you can come with the arms down towards the sides, pushing the shoulder blades in. And then just take the ankles, the heels rather, and lower them as much as you can without finding any gap in the lower back. So it might be lower, it might be a little higher, and then bring them back up. And then just do this as you exhale, lower, inhale up, exhale, lower. You can engage that Ujjayi breath if you like. Inhale up, exhale, lower. So we're really trying to stabilize with the core. You should really feel your abdominals working. If you're moving along the hips, then there's not going to be as much abdominal stability happening. Let's just do one more. Okay, and back up and then hug the knees in. Do your rock side to side. Keep the left knee in towards the chest and outstretch your right leg for a little bit of a hip stretch. Take a big breath here, in through the nose, out through the mouth. And then switch sides, hug the right leg in, outstretch the left leg. Take a big breath here, inhale and exhale. And just to kind of move our hips a bit more, we'll flex into the feet, bring the knees out to the side. On an inhale, just bring them up straight. You can let the arms release down, exhale out into sort of a happy baby. Inhale back up. Let's do two more of those. Just waking up our legs and our hips, keeping the feet flexed. Yeah, and then next time you come out, maybe you straighten the legs a bit. We can do this little rock side to side with the legs straight if that's conducive, or we can keep the knees bent. Might be a little easier. I know it looks silly, but we're just waking up our hips and our legs a bit here. All right, and then straighten up the legs, and once again, bend into your knees. All right, so we're going into opposite legs. So again, trying to root down with the lower back, keep it flat as you tap down one heel, inhale it back up, exhale, tap down the other heel. Really have to use our core. And we might not go all the way down before we find that arc in the lower back. So just find what you can do with it. And do one more side to side. Exhaling down, exhaling down. All right, and you can hug the knees in quick if you need to, a little break. But now we're going to come into adding some arms. So the right leg is going to come down as the left arm comes back. Right, and we really want to root down with our core as we bring it down. Okay, bring it back up. And then this one. So if you add in this element of arms, suddenly there's a little more intensity going on. Inhale to reach and lower down. Exhale to come up this time. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to come up. Let's do one more side to side. Keep rooting down with that lower back. Inhale to reach and lengthen. Exhale to come up. Okay, squeeze the knees in. Do your little rock. And we've got one more layer to add on. So now we're going to come into straight legs. As much as we can straighten them, we might keep the knees bent if needed. And practice here, just lowering the legs, finding that flat back, pushing through the heels, and bringing them up. So again, we might not go too far down. We might be able to go a little bit further using our core abdominals. So we keep the spine long, flat onto the mat as we lower the legs. It's not easy, right? A little bit of core work goes a long way. Finding that calmness, that evenness, soften the jaw. Come back to your breath. Let it guide you in your movements. All right, last one, coming up. All right, now adding in our arms finally. So lift up the shoulders for a moment and then root them back down into the mat. Stay flat onto your lower back. You can keep the feet flexed. Take the left arm and the right leg, reach it long, inhaling. And as you exhale, pull it back in. Opposite arm and leg. Reach the heel, reach through the fingertips, lower back is flat. And it's really this movement from the hip guiding us with the core stability. Switch sides on the inhale and exhale, bring it back in. Again, knees can be bent if needed. Inhaling and exhale, bring it back in. See if we've got room for 4 more. Inhale and exhale. Inhaling it long and exhale it back in. Last 2 here. Give it what you've got. Inhaling here, slow, controlled. Exhaling back up. And last one. Inhale long and exhale back up. Release your knees down. And bring your feet down for a moment and settle the hips. So we can move the knees a bit side to side to release out. Take a moment to notice what went on in your mind during that little intense movement, a bit of an intense movement, if anything. And then just bring the feet out wide for a moment and bring the knees in. It's a nice calming position for the hips and the legs. Take a big breath here in through the nose and out through the mouth. Again, let the lower back arc up finally, if that feels nice. Just stretching out the belly. And exhale, imprint the lower back down. And outstretch your arms and legs, reaching the whole body, inhaling. And as you exhale, soften your shoulders, soften your elbows and your knee joints. And do that again. Inhale, reach the arms, reach the legs. And exhale, soften. And one more like that. Inhale, reach the arms, reach the legs. We might even firm up the buttocks. And exhale, release. Nice. Okay, let's bring the feet flat, roll over to one side, and start to make our way all the way upright. We'll pause and seated for a moment just to get a stretch and a movement in our spine. We're really trying to stay flat and back while we were on the back, so just a nice little movement. Start to sway side to side. You can close the eyes. And rooting down with your hips. So keep the hip rooted as you reach through the side of the waist, back to center. And we can let the head and the neck come along for the ride if that feels nice. Slow sway here, inhaling over to one side. You can keep the hands onto the knees, stretching out that side. Exhaling center and inhaling over to this side. And exhaling center. Do it one more time, side to side. Go slow. Reaching, you should feel a nice little stretch in the neck. If it's too much, then just keep the neck more stationary. Go to the other side. And back to center. Okay, let's bring the hands out in front. Lift up the chest, lengthen through the spine, and we might walk forward a little bit more. We're trying not to round out through the back a whole lot here, so if you're finding coming forward, you like automatically round out the back, then stay more upright. But try to pivot the hips over the legs and come forward a little bit more. So into a flat back here. Draw your hips down and back as you lengthen forward through the crown of your head. Taking a breath here. Inhale and exhale. And then with your hands out in front, walk over to the right side and stretch the left side of your waist. Inhale and exhale. We can keep the fingertips up or the palms down. And go back to center and over to the other side. Just lingering there for a breath. Nice. And inhale back to center. Okay, let's come on to hands and knees. If being on the wrists is paining at all, we can come on to the fists, or we can skip the wrists and come on to the forearms. Otherwise, hands are spread, shoulders over wrists, knees underneath the hips. Drop the belly, inhale, reach the heart forward, and try not to over arc the lower back, but instead, reach the sternum, the center of the chest forward, and lengthen through the front of the body. As you find an exhale, pull the belly up and in. And linger here for a moment, because we haven't done hardly any rounding through the spine, so this might feel stiff. Feel that stretch. Draw the tailbone down, push up through the shoulder blades, and stretch along the vertebrae. Again, you can use your Ujjayi breath. We're going to move in and out of this pose now. Inhaling, bringing the sternum forward, not a whole lot of movement in your neck. Exhale, pulling the belly up and in. And do that again. Inhale, heart, chest forward. Exhale, up and in. And let's just do one more, this cat-cow spine. Inhaling, chest forward. Exhaling, pulling it up and in. And come back to a neutral spine. So let's take this right leg and extend it back behind. Come onto the ball of the foot and feel this stretch through the back of the leg. Feel that for a moment. Lift up the top of the thigh, activate the knee. And then just keep that leg where it is. Take the opposite hand on in front. A lot of opposite arm and leg stuff today. Finding balance, finding this one pointed focus. Start to focus your gaze forward towards the hand, somewhere in the center. And then on your next inhale, come light on your back toes, maybe lift them up. Maybe your next inhale, both the arm and leg lift up. We're toning up through the belly as we push the hand or forearm into the ground. And we're just reaching one long line of energy. So back through the heel, forward through the fingertip. Toes, our foot is flexed. Take one more breath here. Reach, and then on your exhale, bring it down. So it doesn't matter if we're floating it up fully or not. We just put forth the effort. We find what we can. It's all good. Go to the other side. Extend the left leg back. Feel the stretch through the back of the leg. Opposite hand reaches out in front. And really imprinting that toes pointed down, heel pointed back, activation through the back leg. Push up and out of this top hand. This hand on the ground. Maybe this one floats up. Little tone up of the belly, reaching back through the heel, forward through the fingertips, one more breath. And as you exhale, lower down. Nice job. All right, last little bit here to open up our hips. So if you're starting to, again, feel pain on the wrists, come onto the forearms. Right? Last little bit to open up our hip. We're going to take the right leg back, lift it up. Begin to feel an openness in the hip, and then bend into the knee. And so we might just stay here for a moment and feel some openness in the hip. Again, we can be on the forearm if that's more conducive. Take a breath here. Sometimes we do this one from downward dog. No compression in the lower back. We're going to lift up and out. So there's more openness feeling in the hip instead of compromising the lower back. And straighten out the leg, close the hip, and bring it down. Now we can go to the other side again, coming on the forearm if we need to. Really doesn't matter because we're really focusing on just opening up this hip. So lifting up the leg, straightening it up, bending into the knee, and lifting up the knee a little bit further, opening it up. And taking that breath here, toes are pointed. Yeah, it should feel nice to open up the hip. And then bring the leg down And bring it all the way down. Let's come onto the forearms actually and outstretch the body all the way down onto the mat. What I usually like to say is tuck your toes, but let's engage our legs for a moment. So we're on our forearms, untuck. We usually untuck. So instead of untucking right away, tuck your toes and just feel your legs active. Feel your inner thighs spinning in and your legs close together so your lower back isn't compressed. With the feet out wide, sometimes there's a compression in the lower back. So feet closer together, lift up the chest here. And then maintain these actions in your legs as you untuck your toes and root down with the tops of your feet. Now, upper body, lifting the sternum, drawing the shoulders back, and lifting the head up and out of the base of the neck. Stay here. See if we can take about 5 breaths in this Sphinx pose. Our shoulders over our elbows as we elongate through our collarbones. And as if you're breathing again through that space between the collarbones, find that smooth, steady ocean breath. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhale and exhale. Last one, inhale and exhale. And then come all the way down, and for these next couple poses, look down. I'll try to talk a little louder. Try not to move and jerk the neck a whole lot. It's essentially opposite arm, opposite leg, same type of work we've been doing. So pushing the right foot into the ground, start to float up the left foot, pointing with the toes, floating up the left leg. Keep your neck in neutral, and then natively float up the right hand. Stay here, left hand on the ground, take a breath. And as you exhale, lower down. Root down with the right hand and the left foot and start to float up the right foot, pointing through the toes, activating the top of the thigh, and lifting this hand. When we move the neck, it's just not so pleasant, right, when we look forward. So, we want to keep that neck in neutral and lower down. Go to the other side one more time. Push the right foot in, push the left hand in, float up the right hand, the left leg, reaching back, pointing forward, exhale down, and do this opposite side again, inhaling and exhaling. Okay, again, tuck your toes, spin your inner thighs in so you really feel this lift in the tops of the thighs. And then we're gonna walk our arms back into a Sphinx pose. Draw the shoulders back. Keep activation in your legs, in your feet. Begin to pull your belly up and in, but keep some openness through your collarbones. A lot going on here. So we're pulling up the belly, lifting up the belly, the tops of the thighs. Only thing left on the ground is the knees. Broaden across the shoulders as you broaden across the collarbones. And then maybe one knee at a time, we float the knees as we really activate the legs into a forearm plank. Just for another 2 breaths, maybe keep the knees down if we need to, right? Keeping the gaze steady. And then start to put it away. So bring the knees down, draw the hips down, untuck the toes back to Sphinx pose for a breath, draw the shoulders back, lift the head and the neck, and exhale down. So take your hands to either side of the ribs, pin your elbows in, draw your shoulder heads back. Again, legs are active, so maybe we tuck the toes again just to feel that. Root down with the tops of the feet and elbows in, lift up, cobra pose. Keep your elbows bent, your shoulders down the back, and we're not even straightening the arms here. Exhale back down. Let's try that one more time. Cobra pose should feel a little more freeing and easier to access after we did this last bit of poses. So inhaling up, opening up the chest. And then on your next exhale, peel yourself up. Draw your hips back and forward. And maybe you circled from side to side if that feels nice. Nice. So we should be feeling some heat. I'm starting to feel like, okay, if I go a little bit further, I can break a sweat. So, you know, feel that, notice that. And then root your hands into the ground, spread your fingertips. Your wrist creases are parallel to the front of your mat, your index finger forward, lift your forearms, all those actions in the arms, straight arms, tuck your toes, lift your knees, and we'll just take one downward dog. Moving, you know, into a like walking position, slowly walking position. We can bend through one leg and straighten the other. Who cares? Don't worry about bringing your heels down all the way to the ground, but just lift your hips high and keep resisting your forearms forward. And then eventually come into a stationary downward dog. See if you can take 5 breaths here. If it becomes like overwhelming or anything, drop down with the knees. Otherwise, you know, 4 more smooth Ujjayi calm breaths. Lifting the tops of your thighs, your kneecaps as you spread your sitting bones up to the sky. Cultivating a longer, smoother breath. 1 or 2 more breaths here. And then while you're here, come up high onto your toes, lift your hips. You can feel your pelvis tilting a little bit, and then drop to your knees. Knees out wide, big toes touch, sink back, child's pose. And it might feel nice at this point to maybe bring the hands in prayer overhead with the forehead down. Sometimes that feels nice on the shoulders. Sometimes it feels nice to bring the arms back. So again, take about 4 or 5 of those ocean breaths, those heated breaths here, or back to your normal breath. And before you come out of child's pose, recommit to your intention. Take a big breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Finding the calm underneath whatever has been going on in your mind, whatever your mind has been telling you, just coming back to your breath, reaching your arms forward, and making your way upright again. So we come back to seated just for a moment. And bring the legs out in front, move the flesh of the buttocks. Draw your toes back towards your head, flex into your feet. So find some space, spread your toes as much as you can as you sit up tall. And then gently start to keep your legs where they are. There's a tendency for this left foot to want to come forward as we start to turn to the right. So notice that. Try to keep them where they are and just move from the rib cage, the upper body, not jerking it, but just gently finding a little twist here. And if it feels nice, we can look back, elongating the neck, back over that right shoulder. Or if it feels better, going left, then go left, or don't go either. You're not inclined. And then come back upright, sitting up tall, feeling the femur bones heavy. Start to go to the other side, trying not to inch that right foot forward. Finding the neck stretch wherever you can. And then inhale back to center. So we really haven't done hardly any forward folds today. We'll just do a real gentle variation of our forward fold, seated forward fold, Paschimottanasana. We'll bring the arms up, inhaling. And then as you exhale, try to maintain a flat back. So just go about, I don't know, not even halfway, a third of the way forward. And keep pulling your toes back towards your head. So your toes keep pointing back towards your head. Your arms reach forward and get this stretch. Oh, all the way down into the lower back, the hamstrings. Nice stretch here. And then just take one more breath here, going a little bit more forward. And then lower the hands down wherever they may fall. Maybe they're just up here. Draw the chin in. And don't try to crunch it forward. Just gently allow gravity to pull you a little bit more forward. And then reach your arms, come up with your arms all the way up. On an exhale, let your arms float down, and there's a little bit more freedom in the spine after we stretch it forward. So let's meet all the way down on the back again. We're almost ready for our closing meditation. Come back to this stretch that we did at the very beginning of our movement practice. Bring your arms out wide, and we can just stagger the knees over to one side. So really stagger them, letting this outer knee fall out. This one kind of points down. If that doesn't feel right, then keep them more upright. You can gaze off to the side. And then on your next inhale, come back to center. Knees are out wide, and we stagger off to the other side. It should feel nice on the outer hip. Gazing off to the side, take a breath. And come back to center. I hope you found some newfound stretch and freedom in your spine and in your hips and your shoulders. So just check in with those areas. Take a full body stretch. And then decide if there's one or two more things that you like to do. So if you like to take your legs in the air for a moment and kind of wiggle them out or roll around your ankles or let them be still, then go for it. If you like to revisit happy baby, sometimes that feels really nice at the end of practice. Go for that. Anything else you're feeling that would just be really nice to conclude the movement portion, then do that. Whatever feels good in your body, yogi's choice. And then once you found that movement, found that you're ready to find stillness, then meet me in Shavasana and let your whole body sigh. So just come here gradually when you're ready, letting your arms and legs fall open, letting your shoulders melt in, letting your head be heavy. And it should be a gradual progression into Shavasana. That's why I always like to give that little bit extra of movement, of final pose before you get there. Yeah, and just once you do, big breath out through the mouth. And revisiting this calming effect of cupping the hands over the eyes again. Unless you're using an eye pillow, then you can bring whatever heavy thing you want to put over the eyes, and you can bring the hands on top of that, or you can let that be the thing that brings calm to you. So eye pillow, or bringing your hands over to your eyes, or both. And we'll just take a few breaths here. We can use our heated breath, our Ujjayi breath, or you can skip that and just normal breath. So just coming back for about 5 deep breaths. Find what you can release on the exhale as you bring calm back in. Taking 4 more breaths, inhaling and exhaling. Where can you release tension, soften your belly, inhaling 3 more, and exhaling. Inhaling, exhaling. Last one, inhale, and exhale. Release your arms down. Let your arm bones be heavy. Let your shoulders melt in. Relax your jaw. Relax the wrinkles in your forehead and your eyebrows. Let your eyes melt back into their sockets. Get really rested and comfortable in this position that you're in. Let your bones and your muscles release, your connective tissue. Let your belly breathe as it softens. Start to sink down into the bottom of the ocean, leaving this surface layer of thoughts and emotions and senses, noticing sounds, sensation in the body, being aware and noting, and then again and again coming back into this anchor, this calm underneath the surface, which is guided by the unwavering breath of inhale and exhale. We keep coming back to the anchor of your breath. If you're getting lost, you can draw your attention into the base of the hips, the lower back, base of the spine, or the low belly as you draw your attention down, sinking in, and really going deeper into a sense of release and calm. And just be here for a little while longer and enjoy this moment of stillness and rest. Shavasana. Gradually begin to take a deeper breath in through your nose and softly sigh it out through your mouth. As you gradually deepen your breath, begin to add some movement, gentle movement. Start with your outer limbs, your fingers and your toes, with your hands and your feet wiggling out, your ankles and your wrists. Bringing awareness into your elbows and your knees. Wiggle out your shoulders and your hips. And if it feels good, maybe we can move the arms up overhead. Full body stretch and relax your shoulders. Gently move your head and your neck. And just feel your whole body very integrated, connected as it calmly, slowly wakens up. Ideally, how we would wake up in the morning if we had an extra moment to really just stretch and waken up and be fully aware of the body, of our current state. And just when you're ready, bend the knees, plant the feet. And in your own time, roll off onto one side. I would say whatever side feels best for you. Take a moment to pause and just feel refreshed as you take a big breath. Exhaling it out. And then push yourself up off the earth, gently, of course, and make your way back to seated. Meet me back in a seated position, sitting up tall, opening your palms, spreading through your hands. And then on your next inhale, bring your arms up overhead. Maybe you gaze up to look up towards the hands, closing the eyes, meeting the hands at heart center. And if you're inclined to do this one more time, we can bring the hands back over the eyes. Maybe do our little rub first, right? Build some heat. Again, noticing the energy that you build from your hands. This, the creation of your own energy. Right? It's there. You're building heat. So just notice that your own movement. It does create a ripple. It is something that affects the world around us and within us. And then feeling that reverberation, we bring the hands over the eyes and we send ourselves some loving kindness, this quality of calm back to ourselves. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Bringing the hands back to heart center. Honoring the intention and the space that we share, honoring the energy and the heat that we build and we exert out, we put forth, wishing you calm and peace, finding this one-pointed focus of cultivating calm, resilience within. The light within me bows to the light within you. Namaste.